59 million children around the world are out of school. Disabled children living in extreme poverty are disproportionately excluded, which can have devastating consequences.
In this world, you can't succeed in life if you don't have an education. If you have an education, you can get a good job, you can support your family and your parents. I feel bad that I didn't get an education. When I see other children go to school, I wish I could go too. Since 2012, we have been working with disability activists in Tanzania to help more children with disabilities like Turam get the education they're entitled to. Now, we're expanding this work to Sudan so that children with disabilities can get the best education possible, no matter where they're from. It all starts with empowering disability activists to have the tools and skills they need to lobby power holders to make the education system inclusive of disabled children.
AD has improved our confidence in expressing ourselves and overcoming fear. Now we can go anywhere, to any government office, to meet with top government officials at district level. Back in the day, we didn't have that confidence or that courage. As a result, we only managed to speak to lower-level decision-makers who could have less impact.
AD International and their partner organizations of disability activists have motivated the government to become more responsible. When the government in Mkuranga district saw AD International providing various tools and resources like wheelchairs, accessible toilets, and inclusive learning tools, the district finally decided to buy these things as well.
AD has also been working with organizations of disability activists like Shivyawata to go door to door and find disabled children who are often hidden away at home. Disability activists work with parents to help them see their child has the potential to learn and flourish.
At Shivyawata, our role is to encourage and motivate people in the community to take their children with disabilities to school so that they can get an education. This is their right, regardless of their disabilities. The majority of people with disabilities my age and older in this region don't have an education. But now, as a result of our collaboration with AD International, the number of children with disabilities who are enrolled in schools is increasing, and there are no children with disabilities who remain in the streets.
I feel very happy when doing sensitization work to convince parents to let their children go to school, especially when the parents finally agree to it. When you look back at the days before this project, parents were not aware that even young children with disabilities could be sent to school.
We help create schools that are welcoming to students with disabilities by providing specialized learning materials and assistive devices, ensuring that buildings are accessible, and training teachers and staff on how to help their students succeed.
AD International has trained me in inclusive education several times. These trainings have helped me understand how to work with and assist students with disability more effectively. These trainings also help me to educate my fellow teachers from higher classes who will later take my students into their classes so that they can teach them well. Before receiving trainings in inclusive education, I was one of those people who had no love for students with disabilities. Our school used to separate students with disabilities into a different department, so I never had much contact with them. But after getting these trainings, I am aware of how to help children with different types of impairments. These trainings have helped me to restore my love for these children and to educate others who believe children with disabilities aren't needed in the community. That's the greatest thing I'm proud of from AD International.
Hassan is 8 years old and has started school this year. His teacher is one of the teachers who has been trained by AD International.
I have been teaching pre-primary class for almost 1 year now. Hassan is my first student with a disability. I'm grateful for the trainings I've received because now I'm able to prepare teaching materials for children with disabilities. Some of the teaching materials are very useful to Hassan. For instance, though he can't verbally say this is A, he can recognize it as A just by touching. I feel very happy and proud when teaching Hassan because if he was just at home, he wouldn't know all the things he knows now.
Since he started school, Hassan has changed a lot, and I am so thankful that he's progressing well. I believe later he will learn to read, and now that he's with other children, he's very happy compared to the past where he was lonely at home.
We know that going to school is not just about acquiring knowledge to help find a job. It's also about developing the skills for building successful relationships, discovering friendships, exploring identity, and finding community.
It's almost 7 months now since Anastasia started school. It's important for Anastasia to come to school because she has the right to an education like other children. There have been big changes since she started school. For instance, before I would never leave her alone because she would cry a lot. But now I always leave her at school without me, and she understands. Education will help her in many ways. Anastasia can't talk, but with an education, she can learn to communicate through writing. If there's a danger sign somewhere, she will understand what it means because she will be able to read. Since she started school, Anastasia has more friends now. When I walk with her in the streets, often other kids from her school will come up and greet her.
Ensuring that children with disabilities go to school can transform not only a child's life but also the life of their family.
Omari has no one else to depend on except me. There's no one else to help me take Omari to school and back home. This has been very hard for me because the roads are rough and the school is far from home. Before, I had to carry him on my back, and this would cause me chest pains, so sometimes I was unable to take him to school, and when I did, it would take the whole day. Since Omari received his wheelchair from AD International, sending him to school has been easy and doesn't take a long time. I now have enough time to work on other activities whilst he's at school, like my samosa business. Since Omari started school, there are a lot of improvements. Now Omari looks happier than before, and also when he's at home, he plays together with his friends.
The success of our work in Tanzania has proven how societies can become more inclusive. We will use the lessons learned from the project in Tanzania to help strengthen the work in Sudan and create links between the organizations of disability activists in both countries to help create a stronger, more unified disability movement.
Disability activists from Sudan visited AD International in Tanzania, and we were invited to exchange and share ideas with them. We advised them that the Sudanese community needs to understand that having a child with disability is not a bad omen, that it's just something that happens. If Sudan's government collaborates with organizations like AD International, I believe they can succeed in getting more disabled children into schools, like in Tanzania.
At this pivotal moment for Sudan, it is vital that children with disabilities don't get left behind and that inclusive education remains a priority.
Inclusive education is very important because before this type of education, children with disabilities were being highly stigmatized. In the beginning, I observed that primary school children with no disabilities used to run away from children with disabilities. But now that they learn together, there's good cooperation among them. They help each other. That's a great thing I have learned.
We know that with the right support and education, children with disabilities have the potential to thrive and build futures filled with opportunities. And a new story that disability is not inability can come to life. We need your help to make this possible in Sudan and ensure that no child gets denied their rights to a future. Are you with us?